Even John the Baptist that came to prepare the place for him did not do it for him. At a point while he was doing all those work by himself, God has to turn his face away from him and he said, Father, why have thou forsaken me? That's to show that even God did not help him to do those work, the saving grace. All the spiritual work, Jesus did it by himself. Look, the works of the law is not the same thing as the spiritual. Look, the law are unable to save. The law. If you look at all the law that the Pharisees, all of them kept, all those laws are unable to save. Only through Jesus, the saving grace. There's an analogy. I was talking to somebody yesterday and he was giving me an analogy. He said God created the fish and put it inside the water. He created the plant and put them on the land. He now said, let us make man in our own image. Now, this is the analogy. If you take fish out of water, what happens to it? Are we together? If you take fish out of water, what happens to it? If you take a plant out of the soil, what happens to it? Now, if you take man out of God, what happens to him? So it means there is no salvation, there is no life, there is no hope for a man outside the saving grace. There is no hope for a man outside the saving grace. I've said it. All the work that Jesus did, look at it. His passion, he had passion. He had passion for souls. He died. After he died, he was buried. After he was buried, he resurrected. After he resurrected, his ascension, then his enthronement. All these things were entirely done by him alone. Did you hear any angel that helped him out to do it? So, if your life is tied to that of God, and you know without God you cannot live, why are you avoiding him? Why? No human being, quote me, no human being can sustain himself. No human being has the ability to sustain himself. No human being. Any human being that has the ability to sustain himself should prove me and come. Tell me how. No human being. Look, the fish does not have the ability to sustain himself outside the water. The plant does to sustain himself outside God. The saving grace. The saving grace is the grace on the cross. Only the Creator can sustain a man. I've always told you that every manufacturer has the spare parts of his products. It is only the Creator that can save a man. And who is the Creator? God. Only the Creator can help his creation. So the saving grace is the grace that help you to hear and believe the gospel. The saving grace is the grace that helps you to hear. If you lack that, you see, I pray for you that you will not lack that grace in Jesus' name. I say, I pray for you, you will not lack that grace in Jesus' name. Quickly, we'll look at the second dimension of grace. The enabling grace. People say, I carry grace, make I go sleep. The enabling grace. You know, we have talked about the saving grace. Then we'll talk about the enabling grace that helps you. The enable. Perform magic. It does not get things done automatically for you. The enabling grace. You just help that little thing that you do. Let me give you an example of the enabling grace. The widow, who her husband was a prophet, and he died hoeing a lot of people. She cried and went and met the prophet that, you know my husband, very diligent, this and this, he served God till death. But he was hoeing. And the debtor said they will come and take my children. And the prophet said, what do you have in your hand? So it is the enabling grace that now help and support your efforts. When he said just a jar of oil, he said go and borrow many vessels. When she borrowed the vessel, she shut the door. The enabling grace now starts supporting the little things she has, and he magnifies it. Let me give us another example of the enabling grace. What is this that I'm holding? What does it do? What's his work? It what? It amplifies. You say the microphone amplifies? But my voice can amplify. You say the microphone can amplify, but my voice is loud enough. That is what the enabling grace does. It amplifies your little efforts and magnifies it to become mighty. The problem of we Christians these days, God was talking to me yesterday, and something hits me very well, and God was telling me, he said, you are writing, you're talking about the enabling grace, but you are not assessing it. And I sat down and I was asking myself, how am I not assessing it? And while I was coming up with demonstration, and God opened my eyes to even find it somewhere, what most Christians does is, they know, they are aware of the enabling grace, but they keep it here. Jesus, bless the work of my hand, but you are not working. You are looking at the work and you kept it there. Meanwhile, the Bible has said it. It said, I will bless the work of your hand. What is it trying to say? It said there is a grace that enables your little to be magnified and amplified. I love the Bible. When you see Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 15, when you see some people, they have knowledge of everything, but they are not using it, and they will just keep toiling. Bible, look at what the Bible says about them. It said the labor of foolish, where yet every. Are you following what I'm doing? The labor of the foolish, where yet every one of them, because he know not how to go into the city. If I continue talking the way I'm talking, what do you think will happen to me at the end of the service? Now look at it. Relax.